Check. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Lucinda. We'll be getting going here shortly. Hopefully you can hear my voice. As always, it's crazy over here. But yes, it is roundtable day. That's what you guys are looking on. We'll be having some roundtables here in just a minute. But Anne's going to be speaking to you first.
Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Good morning. Yay. Good morning, Christy. Good morning, Kate. You'll have to let me know what time. Is it? Oh, it's 9. Okay. And we're live, correct? Okay. All right, it's 9 a.m. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, David. Good morning, Katie. Yes, with a cup of coffee. Load up as much as you need. I probably need about 10 of these. All right. And so this table's kind of empty, or we got people coming here? Okay. So I just, here's what's going on right now. So it's Sunday morning. That's what's going on right now. So I was going to say, good Saturday morning live. I was going to say that, literally, and it's like, oh, it's not Saturday. That being that every Saturday, I want to let you know about a shift and something in our Saturday morning scheduling. And we're going to talk about resources and better executing a plan for your business. So we'll start off with that because I was going to say good Saturday morning live, and it's Sunday morning. And so what we want to do, first of all, as a group, is say hello to the Facebook Live streamers. Good morning. So I don't know how many of you are there, but we're going to talk about something really important that I hope will be pertinent to everyone in the room, especially maybe some people who are struggling through at certain levels within their business. And struggling through is, I just hate to say it, but it's a part of being in business, but it's how we, quote unquote, struggle through that. So there's something that I have been observing this particular workshop that I wanted to share my thoughts on that will have an application to at who knows whatever kind of level. And what I noted is, there's a mix of people in the group who we've got people who have been, in this space for 3 years, members, and others who are newer. Who has been here, when I say here, meaning in the e-commerce business school, let's just say over a year. Raise your hand if you've been here over a year. Just barely, says Amber. Okay, over a year, hands down. And how many of you has it been less than a year that you're now here? Oh my goodness. That's almost a 50-50 split. Is that kind of what you guys eyeballs about that? So here's what I noted. Good morning, Carol. Is what I noted is there are people who are learning at the macro level. Okay, and I kind of visualize this like the tectonic plates on the earth. You've got those continents and there's just these big plates, So anyways, at the macro level, you come in and you can maybe get overwhelmed really quickly. True or true? Especially you come in through a method. And then you get exposed to another method and another method, and before you know it, you're looking at learning macro for maybe 3 different programs simultaneously? Seriously? Right? I'm just speaking kind of what I see happening, but it is happening, correct? So that could look like this. You're in Shop Your Way to Wealth, you get introduced to Book Flipping Profit System. Has anybody gone through that path, just out of curiosity? Okay, and then you get exposed to Print on Demand. And before you know it, you have 3 different methods. They're all e-commerce, but they're all methods, and they're all very drilled down and very specific. And so there you are at the macro level, trying to, some of you do them all at once, right? And we could call that a headbanger. That's kind of tough, right? So what is needed is to step back and know what your resources are that are available to you to actually go through this gauntlet of learning at the macro level and put something together that works. So what I noticed is there's a lot of people who are working at the macro level this weekend, but you know what I noticed for the micro? It's fascinating because I was sitting in the back, and I first noticed it with Donald. Where's Donald? Right there. So I see Donald, and I think it was when Josie was talking about images, or I don't know, and there's Donald. He's working on a design. It was, I can picture it perfectly. You know, and then I talked to Candida, and when Zach was up, Candida was putting together an ad. And Donald, I talked to Donald, I interviewed him. He was busy putting up an ad while listening to Zach. Who said wow? Yeah, wow, that's exactly it. Because, and you have to realize, they're no longer at the macro learning level. And, you know, like some people say, oh, my head is swimming. They come in, Donald, you've been with us, 4 years at least. And Candida, she's one of those plow through, get her done. And she just went into a Facebook ads last summer. But she said, yeah, no, I was putting up an ad, and I was, everything that Zach did. And then there was that last little piece. What was it? That Engaged shoppers. Oh, you know, and I didn't know that, Ann. That's a little tweak, right? Now, isn't it kind of more difficult when you're at the macro level to add in that, that little tweak? Would that have worked for you, Katie? That little tweak? No tweaking. There's no tweaking happening, right? And I'm only talking this through because it helps to have perspective. You know, where the heck am I in this, and how do I put this together? And sometimes you can feel there's this and there's that and there's this over here, and Brian's teaching on that, and Josie, oh my gosh, and you can start to have a brain meltdown. Could you have I get those feelings of, holy cow, I've got a lot that I'm balancing here. But so in some ways, I think the macro is the hardest, and where we can lose people the fastest and the most is at the macro level, because you're either going to power through that gauntlet, the grind, to get through macro to micro, or you just remain in that overwhelmed space, and that's where people go, the brain says, no can do, and it kind of shuts down. Have you ever had that? So what I want to talk about is what can we do, especially with the people who are at macro, and bring it down into a digestible format. And as I talk through this, I hope it helps everybody, even those who are doing the little micro, because you're kind of just taking that macro level and you're making it down here. You want to get your ads banging out, right, Donald? And so does Candida. They've been working on ads. And it's that tweaking that, to you at that point, that can feel like that macro, because you've gone from doing the print on demand, and now you're at this macro with this whole Facebook world thing. So one thing that's really important that I am noting is people don't know all their resources to then help them go from confused macro overwhelm mode into a clear executable plan, a plan of action. Does that make sense? That works for you. That works for Susie, but it doesn't work for Jimbo. That has to work for you. And so the best way I can do this is I'm referring to e-commerce masters because almost all of you are in it. And I do sometimes note people don't really know what they have available to them, and furthermore, how it can fit into their personal plan. Okay? So because when I'm working with someone to help plow through that, I want to make sure, do they know all these resources? So one is, I want to make sure people are aware of raise the hand just again so I know at the EMP level, how many of you have it? Should be just about everybody. Okay. So you have daily check and adjust calls. Does everybody know that? And the check and adjust are for a very specific reason. And I always say, we're not just a training company. You know, you get a training product and there's that back office and there's training. Okay, everyone relate to that? We have training. And the training is awesome, and I hear, you know, it's that whole step-by-step bilinear is what people really like. But then, so you're going, yeah, I'm going through the training, but I'm not getting the results, right? So what can you do about it? And maybe we'll kind of somewhat access the group who do know how to use the resources. So I want you to know, you kind of assemble all those pieces. You learn about them and you assemble them on your table. And then you're going to have to put together a plan that's going to work for you. So let's say you have 2 methods that you want to learn. So check and adjust, you want to look and see what's regular about those and which ones you should take advantage of. So does anybody know the schedule for check and adjust and what's there and whether it would be suitable for you to be in? It's kind of a quiz. So nearly every, yes, Judith, my dear.
I attend all.
Beg your pardon?
I attend all.
Okay,
I'm a fly on the wall,
okay,
and I like to listen if somebody else has a question. It might be one I didn't know ahead.
okay.
So you and Kurt are every Monday. Tuesday is Kathleen and Justin.
That's right, that's right.
Wednesday is Brian. Friday is Brian.
Yeah, and what's he covering on Wednesday?
Wednesday is the support call, so it's book flipping.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
we usually bring them around to the POV end anyway.
Yeah.
Because most of us POVers, we
Oh.
Brian, we get some POV.
Yeah.
And then Thursday is either Kay or Danita.
That's right, what are they talking about on Thursday?
Shopping away to wealth.
They're talking about shopping, can they hear any of this, the live streams? Oh, okay. And Friday is?
Brian again.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, now I find that so curious with Judith.
You're training sometimes Saturday mornings
And Saturday morning.
and 12 o'clock noon on Wednesday.
She knows her resources. Now, Judith came in, when did you come into the program, Judith?
June.
The very end of June.
Yeah.
But EMP was,
Oh, that was November, I think.
okay. And I'm just, that whiteboard is staring at me and I almost forgot. Justin is like, you're not going to forget, are you, Ann? So while that has visually captured my brain, if you haven't met with Sharon yet, make sure you get an appointment with Sharon today, and there's some empty slots. Is there anybody who hasn't yet? And I apologize butting in like this. So make sure you meet with, I think Sharon's already booked with you, Becky. Okay. Oh, okay. So, oh yeah, and your name is there. So if your name isn't there, I apologize. I should have had that tightened up. So if you don't have your name on there, make sure you meet with Sharon. Okay, that was a side note there. Where were we? Oh, yes, we're talking with Judith. Okay, so Judith is an example of coming into EMP, and she was at macro. But Judith has gotten to micro level really fast. Really, really fast. Because I know, because she sends in her accountability report every week, and I can track with her game plan. Man, you know what? We should bring up, I'd have to open up a laptop. But for people to even get trained on the accountability report, maybe you're like, I don't want Ann's input. That'd be so annoying. And do I really have to do that? But I think if you saw, a lot of thought went into the accountability report. Maybe there's someone who could just bring it up on their laptop and I can read it off. Oh, Christy, do you have, or anybody, maybe Martha, if you log into your backup, Rich or Donald? Yeah.
Even if you're not really looking for the feedback, just the act of writing it down helps you kind of
Yes.
visualize what you're doing in your business.
Oh, okay. Can everybody hear what Donald just said there? Could you repeat it?
So, you know, if you're really not so much looking for feedback of what you're doing, but just the act of writing what you're doing down helps you keep focus of what you're doing in your own business.
And it's a record you can go back to.
Yeah.
It's a historical record of your business. It's a business journal. And it's sorely underutilized. And I'm not doing this to like shame anyone or anything like that, but we can only help you as much as you avail yourself to the resources to be able to help you, right? So I know the top thing in the accountability report is this. What is it? Accountability report. 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 What Who knows? Haven't heard it yet. Quarterly goals. What are your 3 top quarterly goals? Does anybody here in this room, do you know, just like that, here are my 3 top quarterly goals. Okay? Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay. Appreciate that. So, I'll have to get my glasses on. So, that's important, isn't it, to know what your 3 top quarterly goals are? Because I think what people find too often is, and this can happen for me, by the way, too. We do this for our company. What are our 3 top quarterly goals? Do you find, you guys, the ones who are sending them out, do you sometimes fudge and you kind of change them and you're like, what happened here? I thought I had my 3 top quarterly goals.
But that's the check and adjust of it.
That's
Tell
right.
them if you've achieved them, let's go stretch.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So sometimes you can overachieve. Well, that makes sense to then modify. But here's the challenge. If you don't set a North Star for your business, a compass of what you want to accomplish in that 90-day stretch, your quarterly goals, you can end up way down in South America, you know, and then you're back up to the Antarctic, and you're off over here with China or Taiwan or whatever, and you're all over the map. And so it's about getting really dialed in so you're not, because time is precious, is it not? Your time is incredibly precious, and you want to make sure you're crystal clear on what you want to do. And with that, I tell people, it's a skill set. You'll get, with each subsequent quarter, you'll get better. Would you say that, Donald? Have you seen for yourself? It's a skill, because sometimes you have what's called a wild-ass guess. It's a WAG. And you look and you go, why in the world did I think I could do X, Y, Z? Well, you don't know until you set that goal, your North Star compass, and you say, I'm going to burn rubber and go after that. But if you're not aiming for something, you're aiming for nothing, right? Okay? So that's a tool in this that of the accountability that really helps. And all these tools are designed to help you stay tightly focused. Does it make sense? Because otherwise, I see nudging and patting on the backs going on around the room, is you can be all over the place. And it doesn't take long for that to happen. Maybe it's the law of entropy in physics, that things have a tendency to go to disorder more than they have a tendency to go to order. I learned that really young. And so I have to work, my whole life has been working against the law of entropy. And so what I do is I set up as much structure so that I'm certain to reach what I need to reach. Does that make sense? Because that's the natural tendency of life. Things will go to decay and disorder. Look at your house as an example, right? If you're not making that annual list of things that need repair, your house will quickly go into disrepair, right? The leaky toilet, the this, the that. Every house has its issues. Same with your business. It has to be really tight and dialed in to reach your objectives. So I want to make you aware of the resources that can help you get a good executable plan. Now, someone did mention the roadmap. I think it was Cindy. And that is a part of the report because we say, you know, put your link in there. So that roadmap, when you start at the beginning, you have no idea. You say, well, I'm going to be like Martha for Shop Your Way to Wealth. I know that much, so I'm going to go after that, and that's on your business plan. And I'm going to be like Josie, and I'm going to have that automated business, and you put that down. But until you put it into action, you don't know how realistic your goals are in the context of time and quantifying that. And that's why that weekly check-in helps you stay where you need to be. There's also the importance of checking in with your data. I think I've heard a lot of it this weekend about being data-driven. And when you get that data, then you can make better tweaks and adjustments. For example, here's a really basic way to track your activities. You come into Shop Your Way to Wealth. What does that start with? What's your main activity? Sourcing. So what would be a way that you can track that? There you go. Perfect. It starts with how much time. You wouldn't necessarily be able to, you could say results. Well, I'm going to do $1,000 worth a week. You can say that, but more so what you can speak to is time. I'm going to make 10 hours per week available to execute that.
Or you can say, I will get 50 items.
Or exactly.
Something that's quantifiable.
Something that's quantifiable. So I'm just a little bit curious. Do we have a tool that helps you quantify in that way? What did you say? It's the end of day report. Does anybody know where their end of day report tool is in their back office? Sharon. And then there's a saying, numbers don't lie. So if you're wondering, why in the heck am I not getting results? Well, you can actually look at your end of day report. Sharon, you've been doing it for about 3-4 years straight? 3 straight years through hard times and good times, steadily, faithfully, because that sets like her metabolic pace for her business, is posting those results. And she can look back, think about it, the history. She can look back from a year ago and note, here's what I did on June 23rd, 2017, 2018, and know exactly what she did. It's a historical reference. Do you think that would be helpful for you? And seeing your numbers? So that's actually available to everyone in all of e-commerce business school. So I don't want to ask for a show of hands how many people are using it, but the tools are there to help you better run your business. So that's why I'm just going through somewhat of this overview, and then I'm going to have 3 special ladies come up and give some tips about what helped them get into, I call it chop mode. Like for me, I just, you tell me what I need to do to get results, guaranteed I'm going to burn rubber and do exactly what that is. If Martha says, well, I'll tell you what it's going to take, and I'd be right there, and so how'd you get that 74,000 in? Because I want to know, okay, because come December next year, I want to get 74 grand, and that's what it's either 73 or 74. I've gone through it in a slide deck numerous times, or that 249 stretch for her full year. And if she said, well, I put in 30 hours scanning, and oh, okay. And wouldn't that be a formula for you if you knew exactly what it took? Brian and I just had a conversation in the book flipping, a promotional web class, where the guy was saying, well, okay, so when can I make 5K? Okay, if you remember this, Brian. And Brian broke it down like a science. He said, no, I don't think it's realistic that that's going to happen the first month. He didn't promise him the sun and the moon. He said, you can work towards it. And this was the formula. If you want to have $5,000 a month in profit through book flipping, it's 12. I was paying very close attention. Sure, I sure did. 1,200 books a month. And he says, yeah, it's true. Not all of them sell. So statistically, it's about 200 is what you said in that call. 200 books don't sell. So that leaves 1,000, and he's selling them at $6.50 profit is his average. Do the math, that's actually 6,500, a little over $5,000. And he said, I put in 10 days a week scanning for books to get those kind of results. But he made it really clear.
5 weeks are a little longer.
Beg your pardon? So, well, and he qualified that. He said, and when I do those 10 days, I'm working hard. Did I say hours? I'm sorry. You do 10 days a month. Okay, guys, here's the deal. I was up late, and I'm going to blame Sharon. That's who I'm going to blame. There's the deal. Yeah, and then I get this text from Brian at 10 to 8. OMG, I better hustle bustle. And that was we were meeting with Craig. So that's my 3rd day confession. I was up with the gang, but I kept telling them, guys, I really have to go to sleep. And finally said, I'm going to sleep. And I think Sharon must have carried that another hour or so. I don't know what went down. But there. Anyway, so give me a little grace, for the neurons are just, they're working hard to make everything connect. So, ever have that feeling? Yeah. Okay, so back to Brian, $650 profit, 1,000 books, 10 days a month. Did I get it right? Yeah. 10 days a month. Me, I'm a numbers girl. You break it down, what it's going to take. I'm going to work my flippin' butt off to get that done. $6,500? That's a lot of money, isn't it, guys? Would that be great to have $6,500 in your pocket from doing book flipping? That's the numbers for Brian. And he broke it down. So anyone could go, great, I'm going to get in this program, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm sure Martha knows. I'm not going to put you on the spot on that. But, yeah, good. But I'm sure she can reduce it down to what kind of effort it takes. Brian has a formula for print on demand. I paid attention. I'm reading those sessions to you guys. Who knows the formula? What is it for Amazon Launchpad? It's just one formula. 25 designs that you put up intelligently, wisely, methodically, following his training. You don't just throw a bunch of junk up there. You're going through the training, you throw up 25, and out of that you get 3. And he'll often say, and I get some that they're not the big performers, but out of that I'll get a couple others too. I'm telling you what, rinse and repeat, work my flipping butt off to make that happen. Right, guys? You get what I'm saying? And it could be because of my sports background with gymnastics is the way they structured that sport is you have compulsories. So I know Martha, she was in from age 4 through high school, right? Something like that. And some others have said, yeah, that was my sport. All to say, and I think skating is the same. They have compulsories. I get it. I know why they have compulsories. It's kind of like, no, you don't have any business going to optionals. And an optional routine is you make up a routine that you execute. They have this filtering and vetting system that you go through compulsories and you're scored on that. And your goal is to be perfect with your execution on an compulsory. Meaning all the little girls have to go through this. Then you earn the right to go to optionals. So when you want to get to that big breakout mode in your business, you go through the compulsories. If it's books, compulsory. And you may say, well, I don't need $6,500 per month. I'll be happy with half of that. You still follow Brian's formula. You just do half of that, right? That's compulsories. You just follow in the path of someone who's done it successfully, and then you have your breakthrough as a result of that. What time are we at? Because I want to have, what is it, 8? 9:25. Okay, I'm going to have, I saw those 3 girls clustered together, Candida, Martha, and this young lady here, Amber. And come on up, it'll be short, I promise, because we only have 5 minutes.
Here, Ann.
Oh, okay. And so I note that they are massive action takers. How many of you have ever listened to Amber's interview? Okay, and I'm not saying others of you are not, that I didn't haul up every action taker here, so I don't want anyone to feel slighted or insulted, but I know when talking to Amber, I'm just going to get it done, right? I know that's your mentality, and you just go bum, 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 and it's getting it done. So let's crack the code on what helps you ladies, like Candida got her store up in how many days?
It was less than 3 weeks.
Less than 3 weeks with almost 10,000 products.
Yes.
And you go, what in the heck? How? So I want to open that conversation up for these ladies just to give their tip. And we all know with Martha Superstar, we'll get a t-shirt. And what she was able to do is shop your way to wealth. She kind of created that whole turn your head moment of what? When you see her post on the page. So if you can give your best tip, because you guys were all at the macro, Candida, you came in March, got introduced to POD in June-ish or even sooner.
Like April.
April.
Amber and I signed up. Did we sign up?
Right. So you were only you're at macro with SYW starting in March, and boom, you're exposed to POD in April. And so what the heck? How did you handle 2 macro level programs to get to success? We'll just kind of share tips, and you're free to ask. This is intended to help you guys get into like this big, massive breakout mode.
I've got some general tips. I don't know if it answers your question specifically. Or actually, your question is how do you do both at the same time? Ideally, you get one running successfully and master it. Hire help and then go to the second. That would be my tip. That's not what I did, but
But go ahead and write it down. I would write
did,
this
actually.
stuff down.
I hired help with shipping and shopping in July, so I did do that. But I'm still focused on Shop Your Way to Wealth and growing those numbers. My tip is know your numbers. And a lot of times it's not healthy to compare yourself to other people because we all have different stories, different amount of time, different amount of money to invest. But these ladies were sweet enough to let me see their real deal numbers, like they pulled their pants down.
Okay.
And I have some work to do. They're selling half of their, can I share that? They're selling half of their inventory on a weekly and monthly basis. I have the same amount of inventory as Martha, and I am not.
Oh,
So I'm digging. I'm looking at, am I selling the number one rated or the top 1%? No, I'm really not. Are my prices a little high? Are they too high? Am I being a little too greedy? So knowing your numbers, I think, is really important, and being vulnerable and open to show your work or your numbers, or open to criticism. With Zach, what does my website look like? Is it lame? Is it, am I expecting to, all of that stuff, the more vulnerable you are, you can compare to either experts or to your peers to see where you could be doing better. So I've got a lot
Perfect.
of work to do.
oh, okay, awesome. That was really, really helpful.
I forgot the question now.
Well, I was talking about that whole macro thing, but if you don't want to address that, just it's more about the tips relative to how did you push through the grind? I think I can safely call it that, when something is brand new, and how do you just push through that grind to get, okay, now I got that ball bouncing, it's just dribbling on the side. You know, it's steady, Freddie, I got this nailed. How does that happen?
Well, I was doing Shop Your Way to Wealth when I was introduced to POD. And so I literally left the conference with EBS, and I jumped on a plane and I went to CrimeCon. And so that's all I did that weekend. And then when I got home, it was POD. And that's all I did. I did it for hours. Those hours turned into days. Those days turned into weeks. I would literally look at my husband and say, please feed the kids. Like, they're bothering me. I need you to feed the kids. I've got to get this done. I didn't sleep much. I didn't eat much. It's literally what I did. It consumed my life, but it was up in 3 weeks. And so I just pushed through because, okay, I got to get one more design. I got to get one more design. I've got to do this. It's almost there. Because once it was up, if there was anything wrong, then I could ask questions. But I didn't know what I didn't know, so I just did it. And so I kept going and going. And then once it's up and going, then you can ask questions, you can get feedback, you can tweak, but you have to do it to get there.
Yeah.
And so I just did it.
Just do it.
That's right.
So you get it in motion, and then it's like, okay, so now what do I need to fix? But you got it out there.
Right.
Okay, awesome.
I'm not good at talking, so. But with my business, it's so like Josie's. 20 minutes for me is a break, not my whole day. It's just a break. But no, honestly, what I can say about it is because of that, it's a lot of work. I mean, you just have to put the work in. I work constantly, and what I did in the beginning, like all the shiny objects, you know, here, I want to do this, I want to do this. I just said, I got to stop. I got to focus on the first thing. I got to get good at that, and then I can move on. And that's basically what I did. And I went full force into Shop Your Way to Wealth because I knew Christmas was coming, and I knew that it was going to be big. And it's just, and I stay in the 1%. The more you do it, I mean, you can't in the beginning, but the more you do it, and we're all pretty much, most of us are seasoned, we know what's going on with it. You have to stay in the 1%. You have to follow the guidelines. That's the only thing that's going to get you over the hump to where you're getting ungated. You can, I mean, everything you find now is in the 1%, and you're going to start making money, and that's when it took off for me. But I had to get to the point where I knew this before I could move on to the next thing, and that's what you were just talking about today, and that's so true.
Awesome.
So true.
All righty, thank you, ladies. Do we have a question, or did I see? No. Okay. Beautiful. It really helps to hear from people, how did they push through? How did they get to their results? So I wanted to share that with you. So your plan, it sounds like in general, was pushing hard through. Master it, and then you got that ball dribbling, and you're doing POD simultaneously. Okay. Well, so it is, the bottom of the hour by now, Justin? Or okay. So I'm going to get Christy her laptop, number one. Whoopsie. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't wreck anything. Okay. One of those deals. All righty. Okay. So I'm going to say goodbye to the live streamers, and then we're going to have Zach come up, all right? And we're going to learn more about Facebook. So hello, live streamers. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope that was helpful to you, whether you are brand new to e-commerce and just considering it, or you're already in and maybe you've hit a hurdle or a challenge. It needn't be that way. You can see plainly here, this is a community of people. We've got members like Donald Cleaver here, who has been to, I don't know, Donald, how many workshops and events. And he is now in that breakthrough mode. He's kicking off a brand new business with his daughter, which is absolutely awesome because the more you push through and you get to that breakthrough mode, the more opportunities will come to you that you actually have to push one opportunity down against another because you've reached that breakout mode. I'm going to encourage all of you who are listening and watching. My best recommendation is to join the e-commerce masters program, and you can just type in EMP in the comments section, and we will have the amazing Sharon Irwin follow up with you, or it could be Wes, or it could be Kurt, but we will get you serviced, all right? Because you've landed in the right place. We've got all the tools and the training to help support you in your business. So I wish I knew who was watching better so I could be more personalized and customized, but I gotta run because we're moving into the rest of our training today. We're gonna be trained here on Facebook. What exactly are you training on, Zach? Not that we'll be turning off this pretty soon, but what is your topic on Facebook? Oh, he doesn't hear me, that's okay. It's on, I can't remember exactly.
How to create ads that grab and keep attention.
Ooh, how to create ads that grab attention and capture people to read the rest of your copy and move forward into that call to action. All right, so we're going to let you guys go live stream. Thanks so much for being here. Be blessed. Bye-bye.